أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا من يهدي الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم أنفعنا بما علمتنا وعلمنا بما ينفعنا وزدنا علما اللهم افتح لنا كتابك وسنة نبيك وارزقنا العمل بهما بجاه ذاتك المقدسة رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. We are grateful to Almighty Allah who has given us the opportunity to be here gathered. We pray for ease, we pray for grace, we pray for success, we pray for guidance, and we pray for Almighty Allah's blessings in all that we do. Our topic of discussion is Torchlight for Tough Time. Torchlight for Tough Time. That is the topic of our talk this morning. We pray Almighty Allah will make it easy for all of us and ease our task for us. Tough times, I want to talk to us as individuals, not as groups. So anything I'm saying, just know that you are the one I'm talking to. Whether you are here or you are there in Khamis's camera or wherever you are, just know that you are the one that I'm talking to, whether you are seeing me or you are listening. You are the one I'm talking to. So when we talk about torchlight for tough times are like those special periods when life decides to play a prank on you. You know these pranks people play? When you have tough time, it's like life is trying to play a prank on you. Life is throwing a metaphorical banana peels at every turn in your life's movement. It's like trying to juggle flaming torches. You know these ones that people in circus, in performance, they use. So it's like trying to juggle flaming torches while riding a unicycle on a tightrope over a pit of unpredictability. So think of it as life's way of saying, hey, let's see if you can still smile in the face of cosmic shenanigans. Tough times are like that phase in life when your alarm clock and your motivation are in a heated debate. Should I stand up? Should I stay? Should I sleep? Should I get up? The alarm clock is sounding and you are thinking whether you should respond or not. You cannot continue to sleep and you cannot get up because you don't want to get up, but the alarm clock will not stop ringing and you cannot stop the alarm clock unless you get up to go and stop it. At the end of it all, you begin to debate in your head, should I stand up? Is it worth it? Do I need it? What's the use? What's the stress? That is a tough time. A tough time is when it feels like the universe is just handing you an umbrella and having the same umbrella get blown away by a freak wind, a kind of mutant storm, custom made to stress out your life. Tough times are the moments when your Wi-Fi decides to take a vacation just when you need it the most, when your internet connectivity disconnects just when you are about to hit send. It's like when you are in a hurry for an appointment and your favorite socks develop a sudden affection for disappearing into the laundry abyss. Now start searching for it. I think I left one foot here. One foot is supposed to be here. You can see one foot, but you can't see the other one. You have to keep searching and searching, and you just decide to just hide at that point in time. The other ones you have, they don't match your shoes, or they have holes in them, and you'll be like, this place I'm going is very important. I need this particular stock. That's exactly the time you start looking for it. Even though for 3 days you have been seeing it lying around. Allah Akbar. That is tough time. But fear not, because tough times are the fine print in the contract of life. They remind us that the plot is not always smooth, but it sure makes an interesting story in the end. Tough times refer to periods of existence characterized by adversity, characterized by challenges, or sometimes by hardship. It is still hard time, it is still tough time. During this time, individuals or entities or societies or communities or families or even nations, they confront substantial obstacles that will test their resilience, test their adaptability, and will be a test of their character. Now, what do we mean by resilience? Resilience is the capacity of an individual or a system to bounce from adversity, to recover from challenges, or to adapt successfully from setbacks. It is the ability to maintain one's emotional, mental, and physical well-being in the face of difficulties, and to emerge stronger, to emerge more resourceful, and more prepared to navigate future challenges. So it's also a wise acceptance, that's resilience. It's also a wise acceptance that challenges don't finish. You simply transit from one challenge to another. Challenges will never finish. And Allah says, "La tarkabunna tobakon and tobakin." From one stage to the other, you continue to stride, you continue to move. That is when we say you develop a resilience for whatever is happening. Then it also challenges your adaptability. That is tough time. Adaptability refers to the ability to adjust to new circumstances, to adapt to changing environments, or to modify changing situations. That is, it involves being flexible, it involves being open-minded, and willing to learn and to evolve based on the demands of a dynamic and ever-changing world. So adaptability allows individuals to thrive in different contexts and to embrace new opportunities for growth and for development. Then, how will tough time try your character? Character encompasses the moral and ethical qualities, the values that you have, and principles that define an individual's identity and behavior. It is the foundation of a person's integrity, guiding their decisions, it is the foundation of a person's integrity that will guide their decisions and actions and interactions with others. So when you have a character, your character reflects your inner compass, something that shapes your relationships. It determines how you respond to challenges. Characters are characterized by your contributions to your society. It's a reflection of your virtues, a reflection of your ethics, and your sense of responsibility. So these temporal junctions, they serve as vessels for personal growth, for moral introspection, and the exploration of the human capacity to endure and transcend difficulties. So through the ordeals of tough times, every individual, no matter who you are, no matter what you do, we have to grapple with existential questions. Who am I? Why am I here? What am I here for? Am I an appendage? Am I an experiment? Am I a necessity? Am I necessary to be here? Then you have to begin to reevaluate your values. Is this good for me? Is this right for me? And then you define your sense of purpose. What is the use of all of this that I'm going through? So these are the things that will ultimately contribute to the ongoing narrative of human experience. It will also foster a deeper understanding of the intricate interplay that is between suffering, transformation, and the pursuit of meaning. Suffering, transformation, and meaning of your life. So there are so many other ways of describing tough times that we all know of. One of such ways of describing tough time is trials. Trials. We say a person is going through trial. And what are the trials of life? Trials of life are like the universe's way of saying, hey, do you remember that comfort zone you were in? Yes, I'm just going to push you out of it with a cosmic feather. Or I'm going to hit you out of it with a hammer. That is the way trials come. It comes in such a way, it's like signing up for, you know, this roller coaster that people use, roller coaster of existence, with all of the loops, the drama, the sudden drops, the surprise, and everything. And when these things get too much, you begin to say, but I didn't sign up for this. I didn't bargain for this. When trials get so much in the life of a person, it's like suddenly you now begin to realize that your goalpost has been shifted. Everywhere you kick your ball to, the goalpost has been moved from there. And then you end up running around, kicking your balls, thinking that you are going to, score a goal. And what is most surprising is that they will say you have scored against yourself. You know, be like, but this is where we are facing. They said that was the first half. This is second half. The goalpost has changed. And sometimes you begin to feel as if you are being robbed of your future. It seems someone has tampered with your destiny. And all the wisdom you thought you have, all the schemings you thought you have, they will just continue to yield no result whatsoever. It's like you want to cross a reptile-infested river. A reptile-infested river, and life will insist that you should be riding on a unicycle on a tightrope. All the while, the audience, that is your inner critic, will be eating popcorn and will be criticizing your performance. Now, this is not a game of thrones. It's a game of death. When trials come, you begin to face certain challenges that you didn't bargain for. It's going to be a great trial when you are forced to take laxatives and sleeping tablets at the same time. That's exactly how trials work. Have you tried that before? You take laxative to make you purge, and you take sleeping tablets at the same time. What is going to happen to you, Fisabilillah? Yes, that is wahala. Yes, that is wahala. You see, this is how trials do people. You know, trials is another way of describing tough time. So in other words, when it comes like that, it's like you are being forced to do that. You understand now? Somebody is forcing you to eat cockroach and putting honey in your mouth at the same time. Which one are you going to lick? Which one will you spit? Ya salam. So these trials, they are the moments when life decides to test your problem-solving skills with a pop quiz that you definitely didn't study for. It's like who wants to be a millionaire? You have been getting it right. When it remains 2 more questions to go, you are asked a kind of question that if you get it wrong, you are going to go back to 0. If you get it right, you are going to get 100 million. There's no lifeline. There's no 50-50. There's no call a friend. There's no hint. And you have absolutely no idea of what they are asking. And there are no options for you to choose from. I want you to imagine yourself sweating, thinking about all of the things you want to use the money for, and think about the ridicule you are going to make yourself to go through if you should fail this one last question. Then you begin to look at the questioner with the eyes of mercy, as if, please, have mercy on me. Please, have mercy on me. Can I change the question? They say, no, this question is tailor-made for you. Allahu Akbar. So, whether you are battling tangled headphone wires, you are trying to remove and untie it and it is giving you tough time, or you are trying to navigate social gatherings where all eyes are on you and you don't even know how to move, or you are attempting to fold a fitted sheet, a whole sheet, you are supposed to fold it to make aeroplane with it. Remember that the trials of life are here to remind you that laughter is the ultimate cheat code. Sometimes you just have to laugh it up. You have to laugh it off, because Allah already says, Am hasibitum an tadkhulul jannah walamma ya'lamu Allahu alladhina jahadu minkum wa ya'lamu as-sabirin. Do you think you are going to enter into paradise and Allah will not test those who fought in his cause and also test those who are patient? Won't Allah want to test to know those of you that actually struggle in his path, and to know those who are patient, those who can patiently persevere? You see that in Quran chapter 3 verse 142. Do you think you just continue like that? No. Tests, trials, crises, problems, challenges, they are parts and parcel of life and existence. In the grand theater of existence, the trials of life emerge as profound and perplexing acts. They are the whispered dialogues between our aspirations and our limitations. They are the pots in which the raw ore of potential is melted and refined into the enduring steel of our characters. Like the sculptor's chisel upon the marble, trials carve intricate contours upon the facade of our being to shape us into forms that are both strong and intricate. Trials stand as the paradoxical emissaries of our growth. They bear gifts that are concealed within adversaries. For you to be gifted by life, your gifts don't always come well wrapped with ribbons, but sometimes they are kept in the midst of adversaries. You have to wade through adversaries in order to reach the gifts that life has for you. Trials are the alchemical quadrons in which the base elements of fear, the elements of doubt and uncertainties are transmuted into the gold of resilience and wisdom and self-awareness. When a trial locates you, maybe hard times have been looking for you. You've been saving money, you've been making money, you've been keeping money, you've been enjoying yourself, you've been having a good life. But then trials will keep looking for you, will keep searching out for you. When trials eventually locate your hiding place, it will squeeze you, it will compel you to confront your vulnerabilities, it will oblige you to question the very essence of who you are, and it will expose you to what you are capable of achieving. It will Allahu Akbar. It will squeeze you and make you to begin to quiz yourself. The trials of life are both relentless teachers and benevolent guides. It forces us to venture beyond the boundaries of our comfort zones, so that we can encounter the uncharted territories of our potentials. Through the tapestry of adversity, we come to recognize the interconnectedness of all experiences, the threads of suffering woven alongside the threads of triumph. They come in both ways, the good and the bad, interwoven together. You begin to see the goodness in what is bad, and you begin to see what is bad within what is good. This is exactly how life presents itself. It is amidst these trials and hard times that we are beckoned to reflect upon the philosophical inquiries that have perplexed minds for ages. We begin to understand strange concepts without any need for dictionary definitions. Somebody will ask you, what does persevere? To persevere, what does it mean? If somebody asks you to define perseverance, you begin to wonder, okay, well, according to dictionary, you may not even remember the definition. But when hard times and trials locate you, you will know the meaning even when you don't know how to explain it. In fact, you don't even need to say anything. People can merely look at you and they'll see the definition of trial in you. When the winds of fate howls against you, you begin to understand what perseverance is all about. How do we reconcile the duality of joy and sorrow that intertwines our lives? How can we as mere mortals fully grasp the profound significance of our own existence, if not illuminated by the ordeal of trials? If not for hard times, how can we know which is which, the good and the bad, the truly useful and the truly useless? So as we traverse the complicated passageways of life, the trials we encounter will beckon us to transcend the transient and the mundane. The trials invite us to seek the essence of meaning within the enigma of existence itself. Trials and hard times call us to embrace the profound, to awaken the opus of our own becoming. Allah says, "Ahasiban nasu an yutraku an yakulu amanna wa hum la yuftanun." Do people think that they will be left alone just because they say we believe and Allah will not test them? Allah says in another verse of the Quran, "Ma kana Allahu liyadhara al-mu'minin ala ma antum alayhi hatta yamiza al-khabitha min at-tayyib." Allah will not leave the believers in the state in which we are now until it distinguishes the wicked from the good, or until it separates the shafts from the substance. Allahu Akbar. You know, Allah will not leave us alone thinking that we already got a tea bag and that we're already making a tea without hot water being involved. It's that hot water that actually helps us to let out the flavor in us. Allah also says, وَلَقَدْ فَتَنَا الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ. Indeed, we have tried and tested those who came before you. وَلَيَعْلَمَنَّ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ صَدَقُوا. And so that Allah can know those who are true to their faith. وَلَيَعْلَمَنَّ الْكَاذِبِينَ. And so that Allah will know those who are liars. Allahu Akbar. And Allah says again, "Am hasibitum." Do you think and tadkhulul jannah, that you will go into paradise, walamma ya'lamillahu alladhina jahadu minkum, while Allah has not tested and tried to find out those who struggle in his path amongst you, wa ya'lam as-sabirin, and for him to know those who are truly patient in perseverance. Allahu Akbar. May Almighty Allah make it easy for us. And another verse that is very, very popular, Quran chapter 2, verse 155. Allah says, وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ. I will be testing you and trying you with something, min al-khawf, from fear, wal-ju'a, and hunger, wa-naqsi min al-amwali wal-anfus wa-thamarot, and reduction in wealth and in lives of properties and in fruit. وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ. Give good news to those who patiently persevere. And according to the hadith of the Prophet, ashaddu nasi bala'an al-anbiya. The people who receive trials the most are the prophets of Allah. Thumma salihun, then the righteous people. Thumma lamthal falamthal, and then those whose righteousness follow them and follow them and follow them. The best and the best amongst you, those are the ones that get the biggest of all trials. And according to another hadith, yubtala rajul ala qadri dini. A man will be tested according to the level of his religious commitment. فَإِنْ كَانَ فِي دِينِهِ صَلَابَةٌ زِيدَ فِي بَلَائِهِ. If the person is committed to his religion, then his trials will be more severe. Oh, Allahu Akbar. May Allah have mercy on us. Don't be worried about that and say because of that you are not going to be righteous. The more righteous you are, the more your trials will come. But I need you to understand it very well. The kind of trials that come to you may not be exactly the same as the kind of trials that come to somebody who doesn't have faith in Allah. So to say that you are going to have more and more trials doesn't mean that Allah is mean towards you or Allah is just trying to punish you for no reason. And look at it. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Ajaban lil mu'min." It is so strange for a believer. La yakudi Allahu lahu qada'an illa kana khairun la. Allah will not destine anything or decree anything for him except that he finds what is good in it. In asobatu sarra'u shakara. If Allah Akbar, if good things happen to him, shakara, he is going to be grateful to Almighty Allah. Fakana khairun la, and that is good for him. Because even good things are trials also. Allah wants to test you whether you'll be grateful or not. Then, wa in asobatu sarra'u shakar khairun la, wa in asobatu dharra'u sabara fakana khairun la. And even if anything bad should happen to him, if any harm or hurt should happen to him, sabara, he is going to be patient with Allah. Fakana khairun la, and this is also good for him. In other words, whether it is good or bad, a believer is always with Almighty Allah. And Allah said, وَنَبْلُوكُمْ بِالشَّرِّ وَالْخَيْرِ fitna. And we continue to test you with goodness and evil as a matter of trials. Hard times are not always in a bad way. Sometimes your own hard times are the times you are going through your trial, whether you know it or you don't know it. May Almighty Allah make it easy for us. But whenever hard times come, or whenever trials come, Allah says, "La yazalu al-bala'u bil mu'min hatta yakhruja naqiyyan min dhunubi." The believer will continue to be tested by Almighty Allah until he ends up pure from his sins. Anytime trials come, it will always remove your sin. So when trials come, accept it and embrace it as something that is necessary for you to be cleansed, for you to be purified, for you to be sanctified, and for you to be vilified, and for you to be rescued from the shackles of the sins that you are in, and from the burden of sins that are already in your records. What should somebody now do when tough times come? What should you do when you are going through tough time? Number one, understand your patterns. Understand your patterns. We are creatures and creatures of habit as well as creators of habit. We are people who are prone to habit. A pattern is simply something that keeps showing up in your life. It could be a relationship, it could be a mindset, or even certain events and situations. Have you ever stopped to ask, what are your patterns? What patterns do I have in my life? Do you feel that you have positive patterns or negative patterns? In the intricate tapestry of life, there exists a hidden language that is woven through the fabric of time, and that is the patterns of life. To embark upon the journey of understanding these patterns is to embark upon a quest to decipher the whispers of the universe itself. What is Allah saying? We see that there's rhythm in the days and the night. What is Allah saying? We see that there are seasons, dry and wet. What is Allah saying? There are times of fruitings and falls. What is Allah saying? There are times to plant and there are times to harvest. What is Allah saying about this pattern? The sun and the moon and the stars, as they go on their courses, there are some rhythmic patterns that we have in them. Then what about you in your life? What are the patterns of your life? If you understand the patterns of your life, it will be easier for you to cope when tough times come. Because you have seen tough time and tough times have passed. You have seen tough times have passed. When you begin to notice the patterns of the way tough times come and go, when another tough time comes, you understand very well that even this one will still go. Life's patterns are the life's way of playing never-ending game of peekaboo with you. Now you know, now you don't. Now you know, now you don't. Now you understand, now you don't understand. Now you are in control, now you are not in control. Now you are in charge, now you are not in charge. Now you can wrap your head around something, now you don't even understand what is going on. Just when you think you've got it all figured out, life will just switch its rules. It will switch the rules, it will wink and disappear. It will leave you scratching your head and wondering if you accidentally stumbled into a cosmic prank show. You begin to wonder, but you'll be like, is somebody trying to prank me right now? Life's patterns are the constellations in the sky of chaos. They are the rhythmic beats in the heart of uncertainty. But hey, let me tell you, amidst the head-scratching confusion, there's a certain charm, there's a certain joy in embracing the chaos. Just submit and know that this chaos is part of the pranks that life plays. They are the recurring echoes. They are the echoes of recurring themes that traverse the human experience. Life patterns will bind epochs and generations with an eternal chain of continuity. Just as the seasons unfold with cyclic certainty, so do these patterns emerge, inviting us to unveil their secrets. In order for you to grasp these patterns, it is for you to don the spectacles of wisdom, to be able to perceive beyond the immediate and the transient. It is for you to recognize the echoes of history ever reverberating in the present, to discern the ripples of cause and effect that are shaping our destinies. You begin to see that there were some people before you. There was a generation before you. This is what they went through. This is what happened, and this is how it ended. Then came another generation. Then came another generation. Then this your own generation. What befell a generation before you are going to be the patterns that you notice, the patterns that you study, the patterns that you understand. If you read history, and if you read autobiographies very well, you come to realize that there are some people that were exactly like you in history. Whatever you are going through now, that's your hard time, somebody somewhere in your immediate past history has already gone through similar thing. Are you looking for a child and it's a tough time for you? Then you read history and you see somebody also look for a child like you, and they eventually got. If you are so wealthy and you are really in abundance, then you read the history that somebody was rich, if not richer than you. You saw how they began, how they traversed their trials, and how they survived the trails of the calamities that befell them, and how they triumphed in the end, or how they failed in the end. In other words, life patterns do not only stand or stop or begin with you. It can be traced to the people that were before you. And you begin to see the ripples of cause and effect that shape the destinies of humanity. As we study these intricate designs, we find the mirror of our own lives, reflecting the timeless truths that are etched by the hands of experience. Yet, understanding the patterns of life requires more than mere observation. It demands a willingness to delve into the depths of introspection, to fathom the currents of human behavior, and to question the very nature of existence. The patterns of life will make you to understand what your tough time is all about, because life pattern will signal you to explore the intricate interplay of order and chaos. It will reveal the delicate balance that sustains the universe. In seeking to decipher life's patterns, we have to engage in a trance of humility and astonishment, so that we can acknowledge the limits of our understanding and marvel at the infinite complexity that surrounds us. To understand life's patterns is to undertake and to partake in an ever-unfolding narrative of a kind of question, a kind of revelation. It's an invitation to ponder the territories of our existence, to navigate the currents of change, and to find solace in the rhythm of recurrence. Something has happened before. There's hardly anything that will happen to you now that has never happened to you before, or happened to somebody that you know before. Maybe you didn't even take note. And I can assure you that even if you die now, if you can remember, somebody else has died before. You are not going to be the first person that will die, honestly. If you are ill, you get to see that somebody else has been ill before. If you should visit the hospital, you may remember that you have been like that before. And whatever the tough time that comes, you are so broke to the extent that you even had to go borrow. You remember that you have done that before. Now, if you understand that, why is it that at a particular point of the year, I'm always broke and sorrowful? Maybe usually the time you have to pay house rent. Maybe usually the time you have to pay school fees. Or usually the time that you have to settle some obligations. And you begin to look at the patterns of your life for the past 2 years, for the past 3 years, for the past 5 years, for the past 10 years, for the past 20 years. And you see that these things are recurrent. This is the only way that you can begin to adjust your life. This is what I mean. By looking at those patterns, why is it always like this? If you understand these patterns, then you begin to understand how you are going to look into the future. You are going to look at the thread that connects the past, the present, and the future. And you are going to understand that we, as all human beings, we are all sharing in these same patterns together. We all share in these patterns of life together. And whenever this happens to you, you begin to see your stories in the stories of others. You begin to see your own narratives in the narratives of the lives of others. You begin to see yourself in the mirror of other people. And when this happens, just remember, the universe has a mischievous sense of humor sometimes. And understanding the patterns of life might just involve a cosmic punchline that leaves you laughing all the way to enlightenment. Sometimes you just begin to find some things funny if you understand these patterns of life very, very well. When you see that at a point in the month, you are always very broke, 15th of the month, 16th of the month, then you begin to realize, well, it's possibly because I'm a salary earner and I don't have any extra income. And the salary is the same. In fact, that is the most rhythmic experience you can ever have. The pattern of receiving your salary every month. You know, it's rhythmic. It's like the moon is full and then the moon is half. Then they call it the month. And then the moon and the month, they begin to synchronize. And then you get to see that as the moon is reaching the full moon, then it seems you are getting happier by that time because you have just received your salary. And then as the moon is reducing and receding, then your salary begins to reduce and recede. Somewhere from the lunar calendar to the lunacy that happens to you because you are getting broke at a particular point in time, and you begin to behave like a lunatic at a point in the month. So this lunacy has its own pattern. There's a pattern in the month when you actually go crazy because you are broke. And then at another point in the month, you become so happy and high as if you are on drugs. Then salarium becomes your dope. If you notice this pattern, then you understand what your tough time is all about and where exactly does this tough time lie. You know where it lies because you know, okay, I'm going to still experience this tough time again. By the time it's time for me to pay some bills, by the time it's time for me to pay some fees, by the time it's time for me to pay some rent. Do you understand the reason why I said understanding the patterns of your life will assist you in going through tough time? You know that even this one will pass. But before another tough time comes, you can be able to predict sometimes, you can be able to understand why this tough time always comes at this time of the year. In fact, Prophet ﷺ said, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min sharri ma amiltu wa min sharri ma lam a'lam wa min sharri ma lam a'mal. Oh Allah, I seek refuge in you from the evil of what I did and from the evil of what I did not do. The patterns of life is not only in the things that we do, it is also in things that we do not do. So please recognize this, understand your patterns, and this is going to serve as torchlight for your tough time. Number 2, redefine your past. redefine your past. Our present state is made manifest on the foundation of yesterday's moment. Without the experiences of your past, your present would likely hold less meaning and less significance. In the complex corridors of memory, that's where you find the profound power to reshape the contours of existence. And this is the art of redefining your past. To redefine your past is to recognize that the tapestry of experience is not fixed. It is malleable. It is changeable. It is capable of being threaded through the needle of reinterpretation. If you can reinterpret your past, you may be able to cope with the tough time of the present. It is an assertion of agency over the narratives of whatever has shaped us. It's a declaration that the storyteller within us holds the quill of authority and can infuse old tales with newfound meanings. No matter how bad your past is, you begin to realize that yes, you still have somebody that's telling your story inside you. You are the one that can tell the tales of your life, and you are the one that can redefine and reinterpret what your past life has been. So redefining the past is not a denial of what was or what happened, but it's a liberation from the shackles of the past emotional gravity. It's the audacious act of gazing at the labyrinth of events with eyes that's not clouded by judgment, and that is uncovering the intricate paths that have led us to the present moment. It is the courage to sift through the layers of emotion and circumstances that will help us to mine for the gems of understanding that lay hidden beneath our past. The past becomes a dynamic canvas upon which we can paint the strokes of insight, the strokes of resilience and growth. Your past is an invitation to dine with your former self, to engage in a dialogue across time, to acknowledge the struggles and to celebrate the triumphs that shaped what we are going to become. As we redefine our past, we unearth the treasures of empathy, not only for ourselves, but also for others. When you look at your past life, maybe you didn't grow, or you were not even born with silver spoon. Maybe you were not brought up within affluence. Maybe you grew up in places where your emotional well-being was not respected. Maybe you grew up in an environment that was hostile to your own particular growth. Maybe you have been living in a place in the past where your talents were not relevant to that place. Maybe you are of somebody in your past, you had always taken your mirror to the markets of blind people. They neither appreciate you nor patronize you. If you look at your past like that, and you see that your past is beginning to affect your present, translating into the tough time that you're experiencing, then you begin to redefine your past. You begin to rewrite your past, and you begin to reinterpret your past. All the dirt that life has poured on you in the past, you begin to not to see them as bad things, but to see them as what was necessary for you to grow. Any seed that will germinate will first have to learn to stay under the ground. Let's say you have been under the ground all the while in the past. Rather than stay in the ground and get shrunk and die, you stay in the ground and begin to absorb nutrients that are necessary for your growth. The next thing you are going to experience is for you to see that you are beginning to shoot upwards. When you plant yam, if that yam begin to think of the past, begin to reflect on when it was a yam that was meant to be eaten. Now, rather than for the yam to be eaten, because that would have been the ultimate goal of the yam, to be eaten, to become part and parcel of the body of a human being that is ready to serve humanity. That will be the ultimate goal of the yam. But now, rather than that, the yam had been cut into pieces and sunk deep into the ground. It is a matter of choice for that yam to decide, do I want to remain here and feel sorry for myself in the heat and inconvenience of the earth? Or I want to take all the waters that were poured on the earth that has sunk in, that has reached me. I want to make use of them and use them as catalysts for my growth. This is what we mean when we say you have to redefine your past. Rather than see yourself as somebody that should organize pity party, see yourself as somebody that has been built by your past. You are brought up by wicked uncles or inconsiderate aunties. Why don't you redefine that to mean they were actually building me to be stronger? You were somebody who was made to push a rock, very big, mighty rock, that was too difficult for you to push. You have done that over and over, and you begin to lament about the tough time you have been through. Rather than do that, why don't you redefine that activity that I was actually doing exercise, I was actually doing bodybuilding. Look at it now, my chest are now stronger, my hands are now stronger, I can carry any other thing in life. If I could survive my past, I should be able to survive the present. This is why you must redefine your past and stop being sorry for yourself. It is very easy for somebody to say that, well, I become rich today because I was brought up in affluence. But you, if you were not brought up in affluence, are you going to continue to give excuse and lament and cry that, okay, I didn't have all the opportunities in the world? And if you refer to what we said earlier on, you will see exactly somebody like you who didn't have opportunities like you didn't have opportunity. And given similar circumstances like yours, the person still succeeds and survives. This is how to cope with tough times. This is how to understand and realize that even though I'm having this tough time, somebody else must have gone through this before. So we recognize the universality of human experience, the shared tapestry of joys and sorrows, the shared victories and defeats, and we're able to find solace in the kinship of our joint journeys on the path of life. That is to say, we all have our past, good, bad, ugly, and undefined. Whatever your past is, it is what has brought you to where you are now. Whatever the tough time you have had, or you are going through, or you are expecting ahead, consider it as a harmony of memory and a harmony of meaning. If you can do this for yourself, you get to understand that you are not even on this journey alone. There are so many other human beings like you that are simultaneously going through the same kind of tough time that you are going through. Begin to look around and you see that yours is even better. Begin to look around and you see that while you are there lamenting, somebody is already dusting himself up. You will get to see that while you are crying because of what you lack, somebody else is already rejoicing that he had struggled to do away with what you are expecting to have in your life. The third way for you to beat tough time real hard, the way you carry a dirty carpet, a dirty rug outside, and you beat it with stick so that all the dirt can come out. It is for you to meet your khidr. That's the third one. Meet your khidr. You know khidr? In the sacred verses of the Quran lie a story that resonates with profound philosophical truths. The story of Moses and Khidr. This narrative, like a river flowing through the landscape of spiritual environment and spiritual enlightenment, this story carries lessons that ripple across the realm of wisdom. Lessons that will train you on the path of humility. Lessons that will train you on the enigmatic interplay between human agency and divine providence, between choice and destiny. Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, a prophet of unwavering faith, he embarked upon a journey to seek the company of Khidr. And Khidr happened to be a figure that is shrouded in mystic, just like the Quran says, Abda min ibadina, atayna rahmatan min indina, wa allamna min ladunna ilma. One of our servants that is shrouded in mystery. He has been guided by knowledge and wisdom that is beyond human comprehension. The meeting of Musa and Khidr, it was like collision of two celestial bodies. It set forth a cascade of events that will reveal layers upon layers of insight for those who study it. Khidr happened to be a paragon of knowledge and spiritual illumination. He served as a living embodiment of the divine mysteries. His actions, seemingly paradoxical and confounding, will invite contemplation on the delicate balance between divine wisdom and human understanding. He has so much unorthodox ways of doing things. You know, there was a time he scuttled a boat. There was a time he mended a wall. All of these serve as metaphors for complexity of our destinies and the unseen forces that shape our lives. Some things will happen to us. It is possible that if there were Khidr around, we would have been able to understand it. But we don't have Khidr around, so we are left in perplexity of the complexities of the uncertainties that befall us during our tough times. In the interaction of Musa and Khidr, Musa played the role of the eager learner, yearning to understand the deeper currents of existence, whereas Khidr's action consistently challenged Musa's assumptions and tested the limits of his perceptions. So this narrative unveils the virtue of humility, the recognition that even prophets that are bearing divine revelation must remain open to the lessons that are woven within the fabric of everyday experiences. At the heart of this story lies the poignant exploration of the concept of ilmul ghaib, the knowledge of the unseen. It is not everything that you go through that you can understand. It's not everything that is passing through you that has meaning. It is not every situation you find yourself that you can wrap your head around. Stop thinking that you can actually find explanation for everything that befalls you. Some of them don't have explanations that you can find in books. They don't have explanations that you can read on Google. They don't have explanations that even AI can give you a hint about. Some things happen and they fall within the knowledge of the unseen. You need a kind of Khidr in your life that can be able to let you understand the spiritual from the mundane, that can help you understand with humility the limitations of your wisdom and your scheme. Some things will happen, and you look for the missing puzzles, you can't find it. Why? Because the missing puzzles don't even exist. Some things will happen, and all the knowledge and wisdom you thought you had will just disappear. And you'll be like looking at yourself and say, is it me? Is this me? Is this me? And when such enigmatic things begin to occur in your life in form of tough time, you need to just calm down and think of the relationship between Musa and Khidr. Khidr, as a bearer of this profound wisdom, demonstrated that the unseen is not merely a realm beyond human grasp, but it's also a tapestry that is intricately woven into the very fabric of reality. Between the unseen and unknown, you also find realities of your life. One of the realities of life is that it is real, that there are some things that will not be real in your life. One of the realities of life is that tough time will come whether you are responsible for it or not. The story invites us to ponder the limitations of our perception and to acknowledge the intricate interplay between what is visible and what is hidden. There are spiritual forces in life, and that is part of realities that we have to accept. There are things that are beyond our explanations, that are beyond what the ken of our understanding can grasp. And let me give you an example of something that we may not even understand. They say there's an ant hill where termites are. You know, it's a very delicate and intricate community of ants. We call them termites sometimes. And these termites, they have their queens, they have their workers, it's a complex society that are built for themselves. They even have soldiers. Suddenly, one day, as they have been there in their kingdom, or let me say the antdom, or insectdom, they were there enjoying life, thinking that life would never end. Incidentally, this ant hill was growing in the middle of a person's farmland. And this farmer woke up one morning, came with a caterpillar, came with a tractor, and leveled the whole thing. As at the time the tractor was leveling the ant hill, what were the ants thinking? What were the termites thinking? Could they ever imagine that this was somebody's farmland? Could they ever imagine that there is somebody that's called the farmer? Could they ever imagine that there's a device of some human beings that is called tractor? And how will you explain to them when you see these ants scampering for their lives, these termites running to escape? If you are there to explain to them, how will you explain to them? To make them understand, first you have to like introduce yourself. You be like, hello, hand, salaam alaikum. All of you, don't panic. This is just temporary. After these seasons, you can rebuild your anthill again. Now, some things happen to us. We don't know. We can't know. Some creatures are just moving. Some beings are just being themselves. Some creatures are just passing by. And sometimes they step on us. And we don't know. And we don't have to know. This is where Khidir comes in. In the vast expanse of existence, the quest to seek a life mentor becomes sacred pilgrimage of the soul. It becomes a sacred pilgrimage of the soul. This journey is not a mere pursuit of guidance. It's a profound exploration of the human tapestry, a relentless search for a guiding star to illuminate the path to authenticity and wisdom. This is the exact torchlight that you need during tough times. It is a life mentor. A life mentor is more than a mere teacher. They are the alchemists of inspiration. They are the sculptors of character. They are the sages of experience. They offer a precious gift, that's the elixir of their knowledge, that is distilled through the crucible of their own trials and revelations. They are the lighthouses that guide our ships through the stormy seas. They help us to chart our course amidst the tempestuous waves of uncertainty. To seek a life mentor is to embark on a journey of alignment. Alignment of what? Alignment of values. Alignment of aspirations. Alignment of perspectives. It is a recognition that the wisdom of generations past can illuminate the shadows of our present, and that a seasoned traveler's insight can serve as the compass for our own expedition. In this pursuit, we become seekers of truth. Humble experiences will make us to become humble apprentices at the feet of experience, not mere rhetoric of what we think or what we think we know. We begin to humble ourselves before people who are more experienced than we are, people who know better than we do, people whose experiences in life, if they could just share these experiences with us, it is going to remove 10 good years of wandering around in the dark of our lives. It's going to remove 10 years of suffering from your life if you could only tap from the experiences of these people that know and that have experienced better than you. We open ourselves to the possibility of transformation. We invite the mentor's gaze to penetrate our layers that we don't even know is there, so as to reveal the raw canvas of potential that is beneath. Their words become seeds that, when sown in the fertile soil of our minds, these seeds will sprout into the towering trees of understanding. Yet, the search for a life mentor is not a passive endeavor. It is a reciprocal dance of respect and vulnerability. You have to do what they call al-ikhtiyar or ikhtiyal. You empty yourself for those who are going to mentor you. If you don't empty yourself, it's like you are full of yourself. If you are before a mentor that will guide you, and you are beginning to show that you know so much, they will just tell you, sorry, there's nothing more I can tell you. There's nothing new I can teach you. Because you have to empty yourself. You have to come open-handed. You have to come open-minded, so that those who are better experienced can tell you about what you are going through, and so that the tough time is not going to eat you up. Rather, the tough time is going to toughen you up for whatever lies ahead of you. Just as a flower needs sunlight to bloom, so too does the mentor and mentee relationship require the nourishing light of mutual trust and shared intention. The mentor imparts, but the mentee must absorb. The mentor guides, but the mentee must navigate. So as we embark on the sacred pilgrimage to seek a life mentor, let us do so with open hearts and receptive minds, and with fear of Almighty Allah. It's as if you are going on Hajj. And the Quran says, وَتَزَوَّدُوا فَإِنَّ خَيْرَ الزَّادِ التَّقْوَى. Make preparation for the pilgrimage of Hajj. And the best of preparation is the fear of Allah. If you have the fear of Almighty Allah and you open your heart, then you are going to receive the blessings from those who are going to mentor you through your tough time. Let us approach this quest not as a sign of inadequacy, but as a testament to our courage to learn, our courage to evolve, and our courage to weave our individual threads into the wondrous tapestry of humans' collective growth. For you to seek mentorship from those who are better experienced than you in the times that are tough is an indication of your strength, not that of your weakness. It shows that you are courageous. It shows that you are ready to grow when you move close to those that are going to teach you what you don't know and that are going to admonish you based on their own experience. This is another torchlight for your tough time. Number 4, you must acknowledge your purpose in life. What is your purpose? What is your calling? What is your gift? Who are you exactly? And what are you supposed to do in life? If you are to ask this bulb, light bulb, you say, what do you do? You know what the light bulb will say? Light bulb will say, I don't do any other thing. This is all I do. I bring light. That's what I do. And you say, be like, is that all? You say, yes, that is all. If the light bulb begin to sing, you know you are going to feel very uncomfortable. If the light bulb begin to question you and ask you, what are you doing there? You know you are going to be scared. So the light bulb will not talk. It will just give light without complaining. If you switch it on, it will be on. If you switch it off, it will go off. It doesn't have a life of its own to say, no, I'm not going to be on. Except the switch has problem. In other words, who exactly are you supposed to be? If you don't understand and you don't acknowledge your purpose, then your life is always going to be tough. You are not necessarily going through a tough time. You are actually going through a transition in life to become who you are supposed to become. So rather than complain of tough time, why don't you just chill and enjoy the ride? If you don't know who exactly you are and what your callings are, you will begin to measure your life with the ruler of other people. And you think, okay, those people are actually enjoying. Why am I not enjoying? Unknown to you that your own purpose in life doesn't require that you enjoy at that point in time. You are in a process. You are going somewhere. You have not reached there. People have mattresses and pillows, but all you have is your canvas for work. Those people with mattresses and pillows have reached where they are going to sleep. You, where you are going to sleep, is still far ahead. So keep working and stop complaining. You can't rest yet. You've not reached there yet. Many of the people you look at as if they are resting, this is how they will rest until they actually rest in their graves. But you have not reached where you are going yet. Talk less of resting. So sometimes you are not actually going through tough time. You just don't know who you are. So you should begin to ask, what is my genius? What do I dispense? I've always given this example. You know the ATM now? The street language, we call it ATM machine. ATM machine. But let me call it ATM. What does an ATM dispense? Cash. Will you go to an ATM that doesn't dispense cash? No. No matter how nice the ATM looks, if it doesn't dispense cash, nobody will queue in front of the ATM. Nobody will approach the ATM nor seek to withdraw anything from the ATM. In fact, people will move away from that ATM and go elsewhere. If you don't have anything you dispend in life, nobody will come to you. What is your purpose? What do you dispend that can make people to come to you? Don't you see some ATM, apart from the fact that they are loaded, they still have the green light that will be blinking, blinking, blinking. No other green light is saying, come to me, come to me. I got something. I got what you need. I got what you want. Come to me, come to me, come to me. Yes, I'm in service, not out of service. Thank you. I am in service, not out of service. Some bank officials have walked behind me. They have loaded me with cash. Come to me, come to me, come to me. Then you, like, even if you didn't want to withdraw cash, be like, let me go to it. And people will go to it, they withdraw, they will move. Another person will come, they will withdraw, they will move. And another person will come, they will say, another person that's come will say, is it this person? Say, yes, it's dispensing. Come to this one. Come to this ATM. Don't go to that one. Come to this one. If you don't have anything you are dispensing, you will just think that you are going through tough time. If you don't have anything to dispend, nobody will come to you. If you don't have anything you are selling, nobody will come and buy. If you don't have anything you are offering, nobody will come and patronize. What do you dispense? Even this dispenser we use for water. You know, you have the red, you have the blue button sometimes. Some of them, there are three. For red for hot water, yellow for warm, is it? For normal water, right? There's one that's for cold water. The blue. Yes, you have 2 bottles or 3 in some. If there is no dispenser, of what use are those buttons? They're useless. You have to have that dispenser. People have to see that there is water inside before they press your button. Now, you don't have a dispenser. You don't have anything you are dispensing, and you are complaining of tough time. Excuse me, as how now? Are you winding me? And you expect people to come to you. That is somewhere between no way and no how. In other words, what do I mean? Ask yourself when you are going through tough time. What do I mean? Do you know what I mean by what do I mean? It's not as if, okay, somebody asks you, what do you mean? It's as if, okay, well, I said something and they don't understand, right? No, it's not that. It's what do you mean? What do you mean to yourself? What do you mean to me? You need my help? What do you mean to me? You are going through hard times and you need my help. What do you mean to me? Why should I help you? What do you mean to the environment? What do you even mean to yourself? Somebody asks you to define yourself. Who do you think you are? Somebody asks you, who do you think you are? You know, it's not an insult. Sometimes they just want to know, who exactly do you think you are? If you don't mean anything, then you are not necessary. If you are not necessary, then your tough times will be perpetual. Those who mean something, it's those who are necessary. They are the ones that people help when they are going through their tough times. Understand very well that you have to acknowledge your purpose. This is to illuminate the compass of meaning that guides your choices, the meaning that shapes your aspirations and determines your response to the tough experiences of time. It is to stand at the crossroads of self-discovery, where the paths of passion, the paths of virtue, and contribution all converge into a singular trajectory of significance. If you are not significant in the lives of others, your tough times will be perpetual. It's a process of introspection. It's an excavation of the depths of our beings. It's an engagement with the symphony of desires and talents that reside within you. To acknowledge your purpose in life is an act of alignment, aligning the rhythm of your life with the universe's insistence on intention. What is your intention and for what do you pay your attention? It is an affirmation that our existence is not a random occurrence, but it's a deliberate stroke on the canvas of reality. You are not a mistake, and you are not unnecessary. Just the way a star finds its place in the constellations of the night sky, so too does each individual find their role in the grand narrative of humanity. We are all ingredients in the big salad of creativity. In the great salad of the universe, you should be one ingredient that people cannot do without. The pursuit of purpose is a pilgrimage of the soul, a journey of exploration that unfolds across time. It is a testament to the human capacity for aspiration. It's a relentless quest to imbue our lives with significance and substance. You have to be significant. And for you to be significant, you have to have some substance in you. This pursuit is what is going to help you to transcend all of the mundane things that we are going through. This is the definition of the stories of our lives. And this is the only thing that can help us to traverse the journeys of our tough times, so that your understanding of your life purpose will not be the torchlight that will help you to navigate your paths in life. If you don't know your purpose in life, you will not know how to get out of the tough times. You'll be using wrong solution for the wrong problem. You'll be seeking wrong assistance from the wrong persons. You'll be seeking help from people who can't even help themselves. And at the end of it all, by the time you are fully done with yourself, you will realize that you have been running very fast in the wrong direction. Waliyazu billah. May Allah save us from that. Now, let me mention another way through which you can get a touch for the tough time in your life. And that is very simple. Be patient. Be patient. The Quran says, Alladhina sabaru wa ala rabbihim yatawakkalun. Those who remain patient and put their trust in Allah, they are the people who can bear the persecution with patience. And they can wait through this tough time with patience. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allah says, Atasbirun, won't you be patient? Wakana rabbuka basira. Allah sees you already now. Won't you be patient? Be patient. Allah sees you. Allah is aware of what you are going through. So what's the place of patience in our lives? To cope with tough times, we need to see patience as both a virtue and a paradox. It's a virtue on one side, it's a paradox on another time. Paradoxically, what that means is, okay, somebody that's going through pain, and you are telling the person to be patient. Be patient with what? Somebody that is broke, you are telling the person to be patient. Be patient as how? Incidentally, that is the best thing the person can still do, even though it is the most difficult thing at that point in time. It is the tranquil river that flows beneath the tumultuous surface of life. It's a serene oasis in the midst of the arid desert of impatience. Patience is not merely the absence of haste. It's not to say that you are not in a hurry. It's a profound alignment of the spirit with the rhythm of time. So to be patient is not that you are not in a hurry. It's just for you to align yourself with the rhythm of time. It's a moral mix of acceptance and endurance that weaves its thread through the fabric of human experience. Patience is the art of waiting without restlessness. It's the art of enduring without complaint. It's the act of persisting without surrender. It is the custodian of self-control. It is the sentinel of equanimity. It is standing guard over the fortress of our soul as the storms of circumstance rage outside of our souls. Yet, patience is not passive resignation. It is an active engagement with the ebb and flow of the tides of life. It is the wisdom to recognize that time is a master that we must heed. Time is a teacher that we must embrace. Patience invites us to relinquish our desire. Our desire for what? Our desire for immediate gratification. And instead of looking for immediate gratification, we are to nurture the seeds of growth. We are to understand that the fruit of fulfillment is often ripened slowly, but tastes all the more sweet in the end. Any fruit that's going to be sweet will start from being green and bitter. before it becomes ripened, yellow, and sweet. In a world that celebrates speed and instant gratification, patience becomes a counter-cultural force. Patience is a rebellion against the tyranny of immediacy. It challenges us to look beyond the surface, to peer into the depths of circumstances, and to perceive the intricate threads of causality that weave the fabric of our reality. Patience whispers to us that beneath the mask of chaos lies an underlying order waiting to reveal itself in due time. Patience is what is whispered to us. فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا إِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا إِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. Indeed, with every adversity comes ease. With every adversity comes ease. This is what patience tells us and whispers to us. فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. Patience is the companion of wisdom, is the ally of virtue, and is the sentinel of hope. It teaches us the delicate art of navigating the current changes, and it is reminding us that just as the caterpillar must wait within its cocoon to emerge as a butterfly, so too must we trust in the unfolding of our own metamorphosis. In the embrace of patience, we discover the alchemy of transformation. We discover the secrets of growth. We learn to see through the sands of uncertainty. We learn to separate grains of truth from the sentiments or sediments of illusion. Patience is what invites us to trade the holy sprint for a steady stride, recognizing that the journey itself is a destination on its own. So as we stand at the crossroads of urgency and patience, we must heed the wisdom that patience imparts in us. Let us cultivate this virtue, not as a mere ornament, but as a cornerstone of our character. Almighty Allah says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, ista'inu bis-sabri was-salat. All you believe, seek help from me during your tough time with patience and prayers. And with these prayers comes the last point we are to make for us today. To make dua, prayers when in pain. And I'm going to illustrate this with the story of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. One time, Aisha radhiyallahu anha, the wife of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, said, Ya Rasulullah, O Messenger of Allah, was there any day more difficult to you than on the day of the Battle of Uhud? You remember the Battle of Uhud when the Prophet was wounded? Blood was coming out from his face, from his teeth were dislodged. And even an arrow came and hit him. So much happened on the day of Uhud. So Aisha asked, was there any other day that was more difficult for you than the day of Uhud? Prophet said, yes. The day of Taif was worse for me than the day of Uhud. That was the most difficult point of my life. Allahu Akbar. And that was a very difficult day indeed. It was a day that combined both physical and emotional injuries for the Prophet ﷺ. Now, let me quickly tell you about this day that was even described as the year of sorrow, the day at Taif, after the year of sorrow for the Prophet ﷺ. What was the year of sorrow? After the death of two most beloved to the Prophet ﷺ in the year 619. First, his uncle Abu Talib, who had protected him from the people of MICA, died. And after a couple of weeks, Khadija bint Khuwailid, his wife who was also protecting and defending and sponsoring him, also died. The wife who was with him, beside him throughout the mission, died. Imagine those two people died for him within the same year, with very little interval. By that time, the Prophet became a bachelor. There was no wife with him. He had little children, nobody to look after them. And he feared, is this how I'm going to continue? And for some historians, they said it is after he married another woman, that lady that will always give out her time for other wives in the later years, to look after his little children so that the Prophet could continue with his mission. It was around that time that was called the year of sorrow for the Prophet. That was the time that the Prophet had to go to Taif. And Taif happened to be a city close by to Mecca, around 80 kilometers away from Mecca, and it is known by the name Taif. After preaching Islam in Mecca for about 10 years, the Prophet decided to leave and try somewhere else. So he thought maybe people of Taif would perhaps listen to the message. Maybe they'll be more inclined to the truth. But it was a very difficult journey for the Prophet ﷺ. Imagine you having to travel on foot over 50 miles away from where you are known. And he was not traveling in pomp and pageantry. He had to sneak out before these people got to know where he was going, and they would come and waylay him. Remember, nobody was there to protect him again. Abu Talib was no longer alive. And Abu Jahl had withdrawn his own protection from him. So the Prophet went out with Zaid ibn Haritha. And when he got to Taif, he approached the tribe of Saqif. That is the name of the tribe of the people in Taif. It's the name of the major tribe in Mecca was Quraysh. And then the major tribe in Taif was the Saqif. So he asked to meet the chief of the town. And the chiefs of the town were 3 brothers. Their father was once the chief of the city. But once the father died, the brothers decided to share the power each among themselves. So the 3 brothers of Banu Thaqif, there's Habib, there's Mas'ud, and Abdul Yalail. They were the main chiefs, so the Prophet approached them. And they agreed to meet him. What do you want? The Prophet explained to them, he introduced himself to them. I'm a messenger of Allah. Allah has sent me to deliver the message of truth. And this message is called Al-Islam. It is to call to the worship of one God, to leave idolatry and idol worshipping, and yes, to be good and kind to the orphans, and all of those messages that the Prophet relayed to them in the most eloquent manner that he could. But unfortunately, those 3 brothers ridiculed and insulted him in the worst possible manner. And one of them said, look, if you are a prophet, I might as well destroy the Kaaba. Meaning that what's the point? Another one says, if you are truly a prophet, then why do you need our help? If you are a prophet, God is supposed to help you. It's not God that sent you. Yes, God is supposed to help you now, not you coming to us. What do you want us for if you are truly a prophet? Why doesn't he protect you? And if Allah wished to send a prophet, couldn't he have found a better person than you, a weak and fatherless orphan that have nobody to protect him? And the verse of the Quran was revealed in regards to that. وَقَالُوا لَوْلَا نُزِّلَ هَذَا الْقُرْآنِ عَلَىٰ رَجُلٍ مِّنَ الْقَرْيَتَيْنِ عَظِيمٍ. You see that in one of the verses of the Quran. Then the third one said, if you are a prophet, then you are too holy for me to speak to you. If truly you are a prophet, you are too holy for me to be speaking to you. And if you are not a prophet, and you are just lying, then you are too low for me to speak to you. So either way, I don't want to talk to you. And when the Prophet saw that his efforts were futile, he asked them that, please, even if you don't want to accept me, don't let my kings in Mecca know that I'm here. Because I sneaked out to come here, traveled for almost 2 days, about 2.5 days before I could get here. Please don't let them know that I'm here. They said, okay, we have heard now, no problem. As soon as he turned his back, then they commanded their slaves. They called on the youth. They called on the brigands, those who smoke weed amongst them, the touts and the brigands amongst them. They called on all of them and they said they should chase him out of Taif. They threw stone at him. They pelted him with stones. They ridiculed him. They insulted him and they assaulted him. They made fun of him. They casted jokes on him. They casted aspersions on him. They spat on him. Zaid ibn Haritha, that was trying to shield him, he also received some blow from this stoning. So it was, Allah Akbar. They were stoning him as he was running, escaping. And I want you to think for yourself, what hard times could be more than this? Upon all of the sorrows he had endured that year, when you thought it was all over, this other one also came in. Mind, the Prophet was not a small man that time. He began prophethood at the age of 40. By this time, he was around 50 years old. And as they were doing that, they forced him to leave the city, insulting and throwing things at him. Allah Akbar. As he ran outside the city, he himself narrated to Aisha Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, as I was running outside the city, I could not even remember where I was going. Zayd ibn Haritha ran in a separate direction. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam ran in another direction. He said, I did not know where I was going because I was in a state of shock. Until he reached a garden a few kilometers outside of Taif. Those people had left him and he was wandering all around. And when he reached a garden, he sat down. He sat down by the wall of that garden under a tree. And he was saying to himself, oh Allah, what kind of thing is this? Ya Allah. How did I get here? Ya Allah. And he opened his palms and he made dua to Allah. That was a time when you couldn't even imagine what exactly is happening to me. I'm supposed to be a prophet, guided, guarded, protected, with my dignity, with my honor, with my track record of a good person. I've not been a bad person. I've not been a terrible person. I don't deserve this. So he made the dua to Allah. He said, Allahumma, ilayka ashku du'fa quwwati wa qillata hilati wa hawani ala nas ya arhamar rahimin. Anta rabbul mustad'afin wa anta rabbi. Ila man takilni ila ba'idin yatajahamni am ila aduwwin mallaktahu amri. In lam yakun bika alayya ghadabun fala ubali walakinna afiyatuka hiya awsa'u li. أعوذ بنور وجهك الذي أشرقت له الظلمات وصلح عليه أمر الدنيا والآخرة من أن تنزل بي غضبك أو يحل علي سخطك لك العتبى حتى ترضى ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بك. So, oh Allah, oh my Lord, إليك أشكو ضعف قوتي. It's to you I complain of my weaknesses. وَقِلَّةَ حِيلَتِي, and the limitation of my scheming, my howl, my scheme, my trial, my strategies are so limited now that it didn't even yield any result for me. Just like you also feel when you are going through your tough time. All your savings, all your keepings, all the people that you knew, all those you could contact in times of emergency, all of those that are supposed to come to your rescue in your times of need, all of them will just turn their back as if they never knew you. You look to your right and you look to your left. You can't find the 2 ears there. Wahawani ala nas. And the fact that the people are beginning to humiliate me. Most compassionate, Ya Arhamur Rahimin. Anta Rabbul Mustad'afin. You are the Lord of the weak. I am weak, Ya Allah. Wa anta Rabbi, and you are my Lord. Ila man takilni, to whom are you going to leave me in this my trying time? Ila aduwin yatajahamuni, to a distant person who receives me with hostility. Ila ba'idin yatajahamuni, am ila aduwin mallaktahu amri, or to an enemy you have given power over me. In lam yakun bika alayya ghadabun fala ubali. As long as you are not displeased with me, I do not care whatever I face on this path. Walakinna afiyatika hiya awsa'u li. But I will, however, be much happier with your mercy. A'udhu binuri wajhika alladhi ashraqat lahu zulumat. I seek refuge in the light of your face, by which all darkness is dispelled. Wa salaha alayhi amru dunya wal akhirah. And both by the and put in their right course against recurring wrath. And I seek refuge in you from all darkness that is dispelled by the light, and this life and the life to come. And I want you to please remove this wrath from me. Let me not be subjected to your wrath, and let me not be subjected to your anger. So long as you are not angry with me, so long as you are pleased with me, whatever difficulty I'm going through, I'm okay. I'm okay. Oh Allah, I'm okay. I do not blame Allah for what I'm going through. I only blame the limitless of my abilities. Lakal utuba, I submit to you, O Allah, hatta tarudo. Until I earn your pleasure, I will always continue to submit to you and return to you. Wala hawla la quwwata illa bik. And there's no power and there's no might except with you. Allah Akbar. The Prophet was complaining to Allah. He was not complaining about Allah. That's the difference between him and us. He was complaining to Allah, "Oh Allah, this is my situation. Don't leave me like this. Please be pleased with me. Whatever this tough time I'm going through, it doesn't matter. But please don't be angry with me. So long as you are not angry with me, I know I will be okay." The Prophet was more concerned about the pleasure of Allah. Not blaming Allah for what he's going through. Not saying, "Oh Allah, why me? Why me?" Of all people. Like some people used to do. Some people even, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Some people will even blackmail Allah when they are going through tough time. Say, "Allah, unless you are not Allah." Yes, that's what some people will say. "Unless you are not the one I've been calling all my life, will you not remove me from this?" "Oh Allah, why?" I pay zakat, I make prayers, I do tahajjud, I go on hajj, I help people, I help the needy, I do this one, I do that one. There's nothing I've not done for you, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, why? This is how some of us will choose to behave. But Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because he knows la malja wa la manja minu illa ilay. You cannot run away from Allah except towards Allah. The Prophet ran back towards Allah. And it's a very long story. After that, Jibril came and said, "Ya Rasulullah." Allah said, the Prophet now said, "I saw a cloud hovering above me. And lo and behold, Jibril appeared and came down from the cloud. And beside him was an angel that I've never seen before. And Jibril said to the Prophet, 'Oh Muhammad, your Lord has seen how your people have responded to you. Your Lord has seen what they have said and done to you. So he has sent me with the angel of the mountains to place at your disposal. Go ahead and request for what you want.' And the angel said, 'Oh Muhammad, if you want, command me and I will cause the two mountains of Taif to collapse upon them.'" And Prophet ﷺ said, "No." And that's another test of somebody who relies on Allah. He said, "No, I'm not here to take revenge or anything. Don't let them be destroyed. Because if these ones do not accept to worship Allah, their children that will come will accept to worship Allah." This was Muhammad Rasulullah. Oh Allah, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim fil alamin innaka Hamidum Majid. It's a very long story, but I want you to understand that after that incident, the Prophet eventually returned back to Mecca. It's another long story. After one incident in life, always comes another. It's after that episode that Al-Isra al-Miraj now happened. And Allah eventually invited him over. Come around. Come around. Let's do this in another way. Let's re-strategize. You have complained towards me, and I've listened to your complaint. I'm going to support you now. And I'm going to add what you missed. I'm going to give what you lack. And I'm going to assist you. Inna fatahna lak fatha mubina. I'm going to give you the kind of victory that's going to be manifest. Make this dua if you are going through your tough time. This is one of the ways through which Allah listens to those who call upon him in the times that are tough. For to you who has hope in Almighty Allah, to the one whose hope rests upon the eternal shores of Allah, who believes in La hawla la quwwata illa billah, because that's what ended the prayer of the Prophet there. Say La hawla la quwwata illa bik. In the tapestry of existence, your heart shines as a radiant beacon, as it draws its light from the boundless wellspring of divine hope. In a world often shrouded in uncertainty, your unwavering trust in Allah's currents of providence will serve as a testament to the power of your belief. Just as the stars illuminate the night sky, your hope in Allah in this your tough time will illuminate the corridors of your journey. Allah will not leave you alone in the dark. It's a lantern that guides you through the labyrinth passages of life. It will cast aside the shadows of doubt and fears in your life. This hope that you have in Allah is not a passive surrender, but a profound affirmation of the interplay between the human spirit and the cosmic order. It is the embrace of your faith to find solace amid the storms that may arise in your life. You perceive a higher purpose woven into the intricate fabric of every experience that you go through, understanding that even challenges are threads that continue to the tapestry, that contribute to the tapestry of your growth. Your hope in Allah, your hope is an anchor that steadies you in turbulent seas. It reminds you that you are part of a greater narrative. You are not in this world alone. One thing will happen to you today, it happens to somebody else tomorrow, and goodness will come to be your turn. But your hope is not confined to the grand narratives alone. It weaves its magic into the mundane moments as well. All transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. For you recognize the divine fingerprints that adorn the smallest details of existence. So your hope that you have, may Almighty Allah make your hope to continue to blossom and flourish. May it transcend the boundaries of time and space. As you navigate the ebb and flow of existence, may you find in your unwavering faith a wellspring of strength and reservoir of courage and a source of boundless love of Almighty Allah. Just as a pilgrim finds solace in the Kaaba, may your journey be enriched by the sanctity of your convictions. Remember, you are a pilgrim of hope, traversing the landscapes of both heart and soul. Your journey is not one of solitary endeavor, for the divine currents that carry you are shared by countless other people who, like stars, dot the cosmic canvas of human experience. Together you form a constellation of hope, guiding one another through the mysteries of existence. In other words, you are not alone. There are people like you who are also going through tough times. And when you are all going through tough times together, you should begin to understand the importance of kindness, the importance of assistance, the importance of support, the importance of consideration, the importance of knowing that you are not alone in this. If you are going through a tough time, you should know that you can also console other people going through the same tough times as you. Even if you don't have any solution to their problems, share knowledge with them, share resources with them, and share experiences with them. These are the moments when very fabric of our being is stretched and tested. Tough times reveal the intricate patterns of our resilience, our character, and our depth. Tough times are like tempests upon the seas, arrive unbidden, challenging the shores of our uncertainty and the harbors of our comfort. When tough times come, they leave behind debris of uncertainty and fragments of vulnerability. Yet within this chaos lies an opportunity for growth, a chance for the soul to forge itself anew. Just as a sword must endure the searing heat of the forge to become sharp, so too, you too must endure the flames of adversity to hone on to your inner strength. In the depths of struggle, in the depths of hard time, we uncover the essence of our true selves. The mask that we wear in the theater of routine are stripped away, revealing the raw and unvarnished core of our existence. When tough times come, you can no longer pretend. When tough times come, you can no longer hide yourself. All senses of dignity may begin to tear away one by one, but you must be strong, because it's in these moments that we are confronted with the elemental questions of our being. Who exactly am I? What is it that can sustain me? What gives meaning to my journey? Tough times are the alchemists of the human spirit. It is what can turn you to become a gold. As we navigate the passages of difficulty, we find ourselves compelled deep into the reserves of our inner resources. It is then we begin to realize and understand that Allah is trying to draw us closer to Himself. For if not for tough times, who will remember to call on Him? If not for tough times, who will remember to serve Him in truth? If not for tough times, how will we go back and back and back to Him with our helplessness? If not for tough times, we will think we are super intelligent. If not for tough times, we will think that we are rich and blessed because of our wisdom. If not for tough times, we will think that things are going on well for us because we are lucky. If not for tough times, many of us will even think it's because we are better than other people. If not for tough times, some of us will think it's because we can scheme, it's because we can plan. Sometimes we even think deceptively it's because of our hard work. Thank God for tough times that makes us to see the limitations of the limitation and the trivialities of all of the wisdom that we thought we have. Tough times bind us to our fellow travelers on this journey. As you go through the maze of challenge, you discover the interconnectedness of our humanity. We are all humans. No matter how strong or powerful you are still a weak human in the sight of Almighty Allah. Anta al-ghaniyyu wa nahnu al-fuqara. Oh Allah, you are the one that is worthy. We are just poor people at your door, knocking at your door, begging for your mercy. Empathy can only flourish on the soil of adversity, and compassion becomes the salve that soothes our wounds. We realize that we are not isolated islands, but rather we are threads woven into the intricate tapestry of the human experience. Ultimately, tough times are not adversaries to be vanquished, but companions to be embraced. They sculpt the contours of our story. They infuse us with the depths and meanings that we require. Tough times teach us that the art of living is not defined solely by the moments of ease and comfort, but by how we navigate the storms that inevitably beset us, the blows that is coming for us that we cannot even dodge. So let us not shrink from the ordeals of tough times, because within the flames of tough time lie the alchemical ingredients of transformation. Let us face adversity with open hearts and resolute spirit, for it is in these trials that the true essence of our humanity is revealed, and our souls are tempered into instruments of wisdom and grace. When tough time comes, make your dua. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-hammi wal-hazan. Oh Allah, I seek refuge in you from sadness and anxiety. You know what that means? Oh Allah, I seek refuge in you from anxiety of what is to come and sadness of what is past. You see that in the prayers of the Prophet. وَأَعُوذُ بِكَ مِنَ الْعَجْزِ وَالْكَسَلِ. And I seek refuge in you from impediments and laziness. وَأَعُوذُ بِكَ مِنَ الْجُبُنِ وَالْبُخُلِ. And I seek refuge in you from fearfulness. For me to be scared about everything and for me to be stingy about things. وَأَعُوذُ بِكَ مِنْ غَلَبَةِ الدَّيْنِ. And I seek refuge in you from being overpowered by debts. Depths of money, depths of promise, depths of goal, depths of aspiration. Waqahru rijal. And I seek refuge in you from men being able to overcome me because of my weak positions. Then Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min jahdil bala. I seek refuge in you from the forces of trials and tribulations. Allahumma inni a'udhu min jahdil bala wa daraki shiqaq wa su'il qada. Wa daraki shiqaq, and the aftermath of being unfortunate. The aftermath of misfortune. Wadaraki shikwa wasuil qada, and from evil destinies. Washamatatil ada, and for enemies to be able to overcome me. Don't let enemies give me tough time. Give me a way out and remove me from destinies that will only push me down. These are the prayers of the Prophet who had faced worse tough times than any of us. And the Prophet's life was like the pen that Allah has used to write the definitions of tough time. Allah also used this pen to write the definition of triumph and victory after all these tough times. The one that Allah loved so much. And one by one, Allah took his children from him. Who can ever have such a tough time that his child dies in the morning and Allah asks him to still go lead prayers? But this Muhammad, I don't know why people walk past him just like that. I don't know why people don't praise him like that. I don't know why people don't love him like that. I don't know why people don't reckon with him like that. I don't know why people miss him. And Allah said to him, with all of this that you have been through, وَرَفَعْنَا لَكَ ذِكْرَكَ, I'm going to raise your name, and nobody will ever forget your name because of the tough times that you have been through. And so, for whatever thing you do. As you are praying for Allah to remove you from your tough time, the of Allah should be on the Muhammad himself. The Muhammad that made this dua and you answered this prayer. The Muhammad that you made this dua and instantaneously you granted his request. Because as soon as that prayer was said and the angels came and the angels left, then two people who were watching him from outside, from the distance, they sent their slaves to him, and the name of the slave was Hadad. Then Hadad came around with gifts of grapes and presented to the prophet. It's another long story, but what I want to let us understand there is the reality of this dua. So this torchlight, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, happened to be the torchlight that made us to see our way through every path of tough time. Hold on to the sunnah of this Muhammad and look at the examples of his life. And whenever your own tough time comes, you should remember that Muhammad went through similar. And you should also remember that Muhammad called on Almighty Allah. And you should remember that Allah answered the prayers of Muhammad. And so your tawassul is that Allah that answered the prayers of Muhammad should answer your own prayers too, and should come to your rescue and be the torch light during your tough time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.